So the job market today, jobs, last quarter, I believe, was it last quarter or last week, added 177,000 jobs. 177,000 jobs. And you say, well, that is great, right? Okay, that's good that it added 177,000 jobs. Unemployment did not change. I think it's like 4.2, did not change at all. Is that good or bad? Well, at least it's not going in the wrong direction. So we will be grateful for that. But here's the thing. Here is the thing. Now, I just want to show you because that is, folks would say it was good news. Now, remember what Donald Trump said yesterday and JD Vance, because they're really nervous about this economy. They're really nervous about the tariffs. They know that the folks are not on their side. The economy in general, not on their side as well, because we have not really seen the damage that will happen with these tariffs. We have not seen it yet. But if you go out and about and you talk to the folks, like I talk to the folks as I am here in Louisiana, just talking to just everyday people, you're starting to see it. Like you're going to start to feel this stuff. And it's starting, but it hasn't like trickled down to everybody yet. Okay. So this is just yesterday. First, I'm going to show you JD Vance, who is the vice president. And then I'm going to show you the person he got his marching orders from. Now, this is what they said just yesterday about the economy and the stock market, etc. Now watch.
Thinks that we have to make more of our own stuff.
The economy shrank. First time in 3 years. People are pointing to the tariff policy. There are people looking at their 401ks that are worried. What do you tell them? Is this going to work?
So the first thing is, when you talk about the economy, this is Joe Biden's economy, and we inherited $2 trillion of debt, the highest peacetime deficits in American history, a $1.2 trillion trade deficit, which fundamentally means we're not making enough of our own stuff. And the president came in and he said, this is not always going to be easy. It would have been very easy for Donald Trump to do what administrations past have done, which is borrow a lot of money and continue fueling the national debt. He said, no, we need a reset. We need American workers to have better jobs. We need to protect the jobs that they have right now. And we need to be more self-reliant as an economy, which, by the way, will drive down those skyrocketing levels of debt that we've seen. That is what he promised he was going to do. And he came in and we've started that process. Now.
Okay. All right. So remember, this is Joe Biden's economy. So let me just start by saying, I forgot to mention, thank you, Joe Biden, for the 177,000 jobs. Because Donald Trump and, JD Vance said just this week that this is Joe Biden's economy. Now, I'm not saying it. So I would say, thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, Uncle Joe. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for the 177 jobs that were added in April because of what you did, I don't know, in the White House, since for the last 4+ years. Now, here's Donald Trump yesterday, just yesterday.
The stock market in this case is, it says how bad a situation we inherited. I took place, this is a quarter that we looked at today, and we took all of us together. We came in on January 20th. So this is Biden, and you could even say the next quarter is sort of Biden because it doesn't just happen on a daily or an hourly basis.
Okay, so I just wanted to say, so thank you for reminding me of the 177,000 jobs added in April. I forget the gentleman who reminded me. Thank you very much. So you heard, look, Donald Trump said it. Donald Trump said that this was Joe Biden's economy. This is Joe Biden, what we're dealing with now. Everything is Joe Biden. And the next quarter, he said as well, will be Joe Biden. Now, that's according to him. So who am I to say otherwise? So again, I say thank you, Joe Biden. Now, this was the same folks who were running these sound bites and the same folks who have been saying this is Joe Biden's economy in the news, which is why I tell you, corporate media, you need to keep that, treat them, as they say, with a long handle spoon at arm's length, as some folks would say. A grain of salt, more than a grain of salt, like a whole thing of salt. All right. So remember, these are just the folks who are carrying Donald Trump's water, the MAGA folks who are in the news business, which is probably most of them now, considering how they're all cozying up to this administration and bending the knee. So this was them just this morning after the day before saying that this is all Joe Biden. Okay, you guys, are you ready for this? Okay, roll it.
Very important report. With all of the hysteria over tariffs, we know the jobs are being created, and it is much better than expected. At 177,000 jobs added to the economy in April, this proves Donald Trump's point that the economy is doing well. You're
Wait, I thought the economy was doing terribly because it's Joe Biden's economy. Now, which is it, Maria Bartiromo? Is it Joe Biden's economy or is it Donald Trump's economy? It's Joe Biden's unless it's not doing well. Really? Do we have anybody else talking about this today? Oh, we have the other guy. We have the Fox Business News guy as well. What's his name? Payne or whatever his name is, who is always, I cannot believe how he just sort of dances around. Oh, I love Donald Trump. I love everything is Donald Trump. And then when he had the Economist on there explaining to him on the program, on his very own network, explaining to him that tariffs were the culprit and it was Donald Trump's fault that the economy was going into the shitter, he almost like had a glitch and lost his shit on the air. Here he is.
It's a positive job number. This is just it just proves that we have an economy that all the experts continue to underestimate. And I think they're looking through a prism of political hatred, for lack of a better term, rather than being logical about the greatest economy in the world. There are reasons countries want to come here. There's a reason people buy our treasuries. There's a reason a dollar is the world's reserve currency. And the notion that they can flip a switch and find a replacement for America is nuts. And yet that's been the Wall Street narrative all along.
That's right, because the media can't get out of its Trump derangement syndrome and just report the facts.
Right.
Look, no surprise that government jobs are down with a federal hiring freeze in place, and the fact that President Trump has made it clear he wants to see an economy driven by private enterprise. Jerry Storch, private enterprise.
Look, capitalism will find a way.
Oh my God. We are going to be taking away Harvard's tax-exempt status. It's what they deserve. Okay, this is, to me, when I heard this is the most outrageous bullshit that I have ever heard in my life. This is so unconstitutional. It is so un-American. It is so unpatriotic that this is one of the worst things I believe that he has done in his second term. This and not following the rule of law, due process, and this. And they both are pretty much the same thing, that you do not have to abide by the Constitution or the courts or the laws. This is some bullshit. Because Harvard does not agree with you, you want to get rid of their tax-exempt status. You want to get rid of the things that protect universities in this country. Do you want to get rid of something that, what about American University? What about the conservative universities? What if the next president does that to the conservative universities in this country? How would you feel about that, MAGA? Harvard is one of the oldest and most respected educational institutions of higher learning in this country, and has been for decades. But I just want to show you the hypocrisy in all of this, okay? Because this is, now he wants to do it because he wants to take away their tax-exempt status. This is the IRS. He wants to dictate to the IRS what should be able to happen with Harvard. This is what he said in 2019 about the IRS.
Use every instrument of government power, including the IRS, to try to shut you down. And I will never allow the IRS to be used as a political weapon, as it has been and currently is. It is currently being used, but has been used so viciously, so violently against many people in this room.
Okay. Now he wants to do it to some of the people in some other rooms. This is Donald Trump at the White House being pressed on his IRS hypocrisy. Here it is.
In the first term, your Attorney General apologized to Tea Party groups who've been targeted by the IRS under the Obama administration. Why is it okay for the IRS to now be looking at changing the tax status of Harvard because of policy disagreements you have with the university?
So, I had dinner last night with a lot of pastors and ministers and people of faith, and there were like 32 of them, and it was beautiful in the Blue Room, and they said, "Sir, I was targeted by the IRS, and the FBI came in, sir, and I've been going through hell for years." And not only that, we're also finding that many people just having to do with Trump support have gone through hell. And they've used the IRS for purposes of something that's very illegal for them to have to do.
What are you trying to
It's a very illegal, it's a very, very illegal thing to do what they did. And I think it's such a shame. That was long what?
If that was wrong, why are you considering changing the tax status of Harvard?
Because I think Harvard's a disgrace. I think what they did was a disgrace. They're obviously anti-Semitic, and all of a sudden they're starting to behave. But when you see what they were saying, what they were doing, when you see the way they took care of events, when you watch that woman, that horrendous
all right, get it.
president.
Okay, so listen, got it. All right, now, Nikki, Peter, you guys there? Didn't they say he said it was illegal? But then when asked on it, he goes, "Why are you doing it then if it's illegal?" And he said, "Because Harvard is." Because he thinks they're awful?
They deserve it.
But
he basically just described exactly what he's doing, said that it's illegal.
But he's going to do it anyways.
Essentially. In his mind, it's only illegal if it's being done to Trump supporters.
I mean, it's not funny. And by the way, you think he's a big hypocrite? You think he's a big baby? Or as we say, Trump is a whiny little bitch? What do we call him?
A petty little bitch.
Petty little
bee. Sorry, you
petty little bee. Well, anyways. So this is his cabinet, members of his cabinet and his supporters talking about just being hypocritical on the IRS. Here it is.
Under fire this morning for targeting the political enemies of President Obama.
If the IRS can go after you because of what you think or what you believe or what you do, we'd no longer live in a free country. That's what this is all about. And if you think they're not going to eventually use it against your politics, whatever they might be, it's ridiculous. They certainly will.
This is far worse than Watergate. This isn't an enemies list. These are direct actions that were taken against Americans who sought to exercise their free speech rights under the First Amendment.
If this were a Republican president targeting the ACLU or some of those groups and administration, I think the mainstream media would be apoplectic. So I think it's a definite double standard.
It's created this culture of intimidation that's pervasive throughout the White House and the federal government. It's embarrassing for the country. These are things you typically see in the third world.
I can also assure you that were this a Republican president, a Republican attorney general, and a Republican IRS that were targeting Democrats, I at least would speak out just as vigorously against it.
How scary is this to you?
It's just not supposed to happen. They have laws against it. If this were somebody else, this would be the bigger story. And maybe it will, in fact, be the bigger story.
Now, you don't need me to tell you this. There's a soundbite for everything. It's total hypocrisy. And that's why people get upset when I talk about the MAGA brain and that it's a cult. And that he lies to them and they believe it. They will believe anything that he says. These people are crazy, Lori. They are crazy. They're out of their minds. I don't understand what's wrong. It is embarrassing. Those are the same people who are in his cabinet now. And where is Michelle Bachmann? Whatever happened to her? Remember that? The tip of the spear woman? Actually, it is believable in this climate. Every allegation is an admission. They are letting you in on who they are. These people do not care about the Constitution. They do not care about the rule of law. They are not patriots. What they want is power. And they don't, most of all, I'm speaking to you folks here who know better, and I'm speaking to the MAGA sycophants, MAGA brain idiots. I'll be honest. The people who have been co-opted. He doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't care about you at all. He cares about himself. And he will do and use anything at his disposal in order to stay in power, to stay out of jail, and to mislead you. Even tell you that taxes are not, tariffs are not a tax on you. That the economy is great when you're living in a shit economy that is about to go down the tubes. And you are falling for it. Well, he's got something up his sleeve. He's going to be able to. Yeah, it is projection. Someone said it's projection. It is projection, and it's worse than that. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.